Thank you for tuning in to Koppen with Comic. I'm Brian Koppen. We're here with comic Jesse VandenBergh. Jesse VandenBergh, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Yeah, thank you so much for coming here now that it's so cold. And where can people find your just hilarious animation, etc. online?
You can find the animation at frogboys.com. That's
Yes.
boys with a Z.
Of course.
There's more stuff on my website, jessevandenbergh.com. For the spelling, you could probably just get that in like the description of VandenBergh.
There's an H on the end, right?
Yeah. Secret H.
And so the Frog Boys, tell me about that, because do you do the animation for that?
I do the illustrating.
Okay.
So it's people see that I do that and they're like, "Oh, you're an animator," and then they recommend me for jobs that I'm not qualified for. It's me and this other guy, Sean Newman. We've figured out this workflow where I do the character drawings, and I draw them layer by layer in Photoshop.
Okay.
Send them over to him, and then he makes them move. Wow. So it's sort of a team effort.
And who's doing the funny audio? Are you guys both writing that?
We both write. We both voice.
Okay. Is he a comic too then?
He is.
Okay,
yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And so like the recent thing that I saw was Supersonic Boom.
Supersonic Brunch.
Yeah, and that's where you have like cartoon characters, and they might even be classic ones, but they're interacting with somebody who they know is a celebrity, but they can't really put their finger on who it is.
Yeah, so it's we wanted to have something coincide with the release of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie.
Oh yeah.
I used to do because I come from like the improv and sketch world.
Okay.
So I used to perform this character that was it's this guy at a bar just telling like his greatest celebrity encounter, and
cool,
like as
classic.
he's telling the story, it's just like, oh, he's talking about Elmer Fudd. But he's talking about how he met Elmer Fudd, and it was just like all the beats were just like the beats of a celebrity encounter.
He hunts rabbits.
Or yeah, it was just like this guy like looks super familiar. He's like walking with like a hat like
big mustache, right?
That's
I'm thinking about somebody else. Yeah. So Elmer Fudd. Oh, is that the pig? Which one's Elmer Fudd?
Elmer Fudd is the one who hunts Bugs Bunny with the bald head.
And now who's Yosemite Sam? He doesn't hunt rabbits?
He is often in who is he?
You're like, he's somebody totally fucking different.
He also tries to kill Bugs Bunny.
Okay.
Bugs Bunny has a lot of enemies.
Okay. But that's cool. You took that from sketch and you made that kind of into a premise for animated vehicle.
Well, yeah, it stemmed from that premise just because that was always just a funny notion to me. And so I brought that to Sean, and just through brainstorming together, Sean brought up the great point of just like, nobody cares about Elmer Fudd. That's a cartoon character from the 30s. Let's try to update that. So we were looking at like what was coming up within the following year.
Right.
We landed on Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, cool.
So we changed the specifics to Dr. Robotnik, who is the villain from Sonic. So it's essentially that character that I was telling you about, but just done in a sketch form.
Trying to describe who, I met this guy at a bar. He's really trying to catch this hedgehog. He's in this machine.
Yeah, so it was us noticing it's all live action except for Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
He's the only animated character.
And who's doing your live action stuff? Do you call in like just friends of yours to be the people?
We have a really talented guy named Adam Volerich, who he did all the shooting for us.
Oh, cool.
This guy, Rob Bond, who's really talented, has helped Frog Boys out on a number of projects before.
And is that the workflow where you can just have them shoot this and you add your animation kind of after the fact?
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
Well, we both directed it
too.
So I made some detailed storyboards just so like I could just hand that off to them and not really worry about too much of the coordinating while on set. So like we could worry about acting. And
so you're also on set making sure everything goes okay.
Yeah, and we had a lot of like background actors too, so we wanted to make sure like they were comfortable, well hydrated, because it was like the hottest day in July. We shot it.
And today is the coldest day. So I appreciate that. I appreciate making sure that the talent is comfortable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so how'd you get? I mean, Frog Boys. When it was not the Supersonic Brunch, kind of what was before that? It was still interactions between cartoons and live actors.
Supersonic Brunch was our first, so that was an experimental video.
That was the first thing that Frog Boys did?
No, that was the first live action animation hybrid.
Oh, and before that, it was just animation.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we started in 2016.
Wow.
I had this really dumb idea for a sketch that I really wanted to get made, but it was too high concept to get made.
Okay, and can you discuss it?
Yeah, it's so dumb. It was called Song of the Summer.
I love that. It's so dumb, but it's super complicated.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's this professor is being led through these catacombs beneath Vatican City, and you hear his voiceover just talking about how he's about to witness the most coveted event in human history.
And it was.
And the cardinal who's guiding him unlocks this gate. And there's this giant floating, pulsating baby that awakens from its hibernation, names the Song of the Summer, and then goes back into hibernation.
Amazing.
Until next year.
Amazing applause break. That is fucking cool.
So it's such a dumb premise, but for some reason I was dead set on getting it made.
No, that's amazing.
And I had been used to doing live action sketches because I come from that world.
Right.
But I had done a lot of things with Sean in the past, and I remember hearing him say that he was dabbling in animation. So that seemed to be the only way to get a premise like that executed.
Because how else are you going to show the catacombs on stage with sketch? It would just kind of take too long.
Yeah,
and the big baby, the giant baby, how the fuck are you going to do that?
Yeah, unless I can hire David Cronenberg to build me a pulsating baby.
Yeah, I love that it was important that your baby was pulsating too.
Oh yeah, big disgusting veiny baby.
And so you guys finally did the animation of that for Frog Boys? That was one of the first animations you did?
Yeah, that ended up being the first one, and we were like, this was fun, let's try another one.
And
then
the
we just
people's
kept
response to it was probably pretty good.
I don't know. I think it was maybe just oh, cool, animation. That's, not a lot of comedians are doing that, so that's cool because it's novel, but I don't know how good it was.
But no, I mean, the idea that there's a giant baby somewhere naming the Song of the Summer is fucking amazing. Because where does the Song of the Summer come from? I mean, it's really written. It's written. You almost could promote this in connection with all the think pieces on every Song of the Summer. Because when a Song of the Summer emerges, there's here's this one, Necesito or whatever the fuck the name is. Here's how it became the Song of the Summer. And I'm reading all these stupid think pieces, and nobody has ever mentioned. Maybe there's a giant, veiny, pulsating baby somewhere who just awakes and says the Song of the Summer.
The Krygorg is what we named it.
Of course, the Krygorg.
Yeah, of course, because why not?
They named, and now that you've and I guess this, when you achieve your ambition with a project, which is making sure you see the Kryborg, the veiny pulsating baby, everything else is just kind of gravy. Everything else is icing on the cake. You no longer have the reason for Frog Boys is because I want to do things that are so complex I can't do them on stage. The next idea, how do you is it a letdown from Kryborg?
Oh, not at all.
Okay.
If anything, we've gotten so much better since that video.
But is there any it sounds like the idea has lived with you for so long about the Kryborg, and it took you a while to get it off the ground. You actually had to invent Frog Boys or help invent Frog Boys to realize that, bring it to fruition. There's not going to be any more ideas that you just long for years on end, is there?
Well, it's actually... It's a lot more freeing in a way because we're not limited by our ideas. I know I'm someone in particular, because I have such a love for film and sci-fi and all these high concept genres. That's the way my mind thinks.
Oh, cool.
But as a New York comedian, I don't really have the budget to make those things. So
except through animation.
Yeah. So I'm, I was knocking around for a long time in the comedy scene before we figured out Frog Boys. So now this is a way where I'm I can have any idea and just make it happen.
And so all day long when you're getting these ideas, are you just kind of writing them down somewhere so that you can then see what cream rises to the top? Because it has to be worth the considerable effort that is animation.
Yeah, I keep different folders of ideas. One's just general sketch ideas, stand-up ideas, and then I've got one for Frog Boys that...
is thicker than all the others put together.
It is. It's
because you don't need a troupe. You just need your animating partner.
Yeah. And we can go to a lot of our friends who do comedy as resources for doing guest voices.
Yeah.
But yeah, my my Frog Boys folder is a lot thicker, and it's filled with mostly pop culture driven ideas and higher concept crazy ideas.
And I guess I buy the higher concept crazy, but are you a little bit worried that something like the pop culture stuff will be dated by the time you even get done with the animation?
Yes, that is definitely a concern, but I do find so we released a Lion King parody that spoke to a lot of people. We actually released it a year before the
live action one.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess if you could call it live action.
Yeah, I didn't see it. Was it CGI? Yeah,
it's like they call it photorealistic. I'm doing air quotes. I know this is a podcast, but yeah, they call it photorealistic. Whatever that heap of garbage of a movie was. But so we released it a year before that, just based on the '94 animated movie.
Oh, cool. And what was what were you parodying about it?
So the premise was, and this was a thing that I used to do as a stand-up bit. It was.
I love that all these things have their germs in stand-up and sketch that you've done. That's cool.
Yeah.
It kind of stuck with you, you know.
Yeah, just like ideas that I liked and wanted to live on after.
Yeah. Let me do something more with this. This should live on film rather than just on the stage show that I did. I got some laughs at.
Yeah. And this was the premise was it was the scene where Scar kills Mufasa.
Of course.
Spoiler alert if you haven't seen The Lion King.
There's a lion called Scar and a lion called Mufasa.
They're brothers. One doesn't like the other that much.
Yeah.
So he throws him into the stampede, and then it cuts to him falling in front of two wildebeests who are the ones who deliver the kill. Trample.
Cool.
And it's just them freaking out like, oh my God, I just stepped on the king's face. What do we do? What do we do? Just keep running.
What was he doing falling from that cliff into the stampede?
Yeah.
They had no idea that maybe somebody a relative threw him off the cliff into the stampede.
Oh, they were just concerned because they were the ones who physically had the blood on their hooves.
We have blood on our hooves.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That would have been a great line. We don't have that.
Well, you'll remake it, and it's just like, because I guess they'll probably remake their movie, so you could almost release it with a couple minutes new footage, coinciding with every new Lion King there ever is.
Oh, dude, we should just totally revamp it and do a photorealistic version of that.
How can we make this worse? Let's make it photorealistic in the air quotes.
Yeah.
I love it. And so Frog Boys now, that has its own Twitter handle? Like, I think
I
follow Frog Boys with a Z.
Yes, it's at frog_boys.
Okay. And how'd you come up with the name?
That was just the first one that made us laugh. We were pitching around a bunch of ideas. Like, we were trying to incorporate, like, our names or maybe the word, like, tunes into it, but none of those really stuck. And one of us pitched Frog Boys, and that was just like, that's so silly. Let's do that.
And I know you're a Simpsons fan. Like, what do you hope that Frog Boys ultimately does? Like, do you think that, it's going to be around for years, and it's always going to be high concept, and it's always going to be just original as fuck? Like, what are you hoping for Frog Boys? Like, what of the Simpsons do you admire and you hope to successfully put into Frog Boys?
I love how the Simpsons is just an unstoppable joke machine.
Yeah.
There are 20 jokes packed into like every minute of The Simpsons.
And so as a person who does animated shorts, they're a little bit shorter, right? Like, you have to make sure that it's a never-ending joke machine.
There's that. There's also a lot of the background gags in The Simpsons. There's a plethora of just background jokes that, like, you need to watch episodes over and over to really, like, take them all in.
Well, I'll have to watch The Simpsons someday.
It's great.
I've heard good things.
Yeah.
To me, it was always just like a bunch of yellow people, and like back in the day, like when I was younger, it was coming out and people were wearing these cowabunga shirts, and I'm like it just wasn't cool to me. As a cooler kid, and as a more popular kid in middle school or whatever the fuck it is, I was like, I can't believe you're wearing a shirt where there's a yellow person saying cowabunga on a skateboard, and that's like somehow cool to you.
Well, I also understand that like The Simpsons was counterculture, but then the second you start selling merchandise and have like T-shirts and lunch boxes, it sort of loses its punk rock edge. And but I understand the rebelliousness to taking that in. But
like now, as a high concept Frog Boys, I think you can just happily sell out with merch.
Oh,
like, are you guys branching out into merch at all? Like, are any of these?
We have T-shirts on the website. Okay. You can buy a Frog Boys T-shirt.
And how do you take like a great sketch like the Cryborg, the baby who names the song of the summer? Mm-hmm. Like, is that giant baby on a T-shirt yet? And if not, why not?
the Krygorg is not on a T-shirt. Probably never will be.
It just doesn't translate to T-shirt because it's not pulsating.
Yeah.
If we could make
it's gotta move. It's gotta live. It's gotta breathe. No, we have other videos that I would love to incorporate into T-shirts and merch. So we have one that is it's a music video with we've done a couple music videos with these two personified frog characters who wear shutter shades. Okay. They're our logo, and we've turned them into characters. Okay. And we made a music video called Step and Repeat. Okay. Step and Repeats are like those big backdrops that you can take photos in front of at like red carpet events or premieres.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's sort of just like treating it like a dance move, like Step and Repeat, but it's also talking about how like we want to take pictures in front of this to trick our Instagram followers into thinking we're living these cool, happy lives when we are actually miserable.
Oh, do I love that. And can they see that on your Instagram at all?
That's on our Instagram.
Okay, and is that Frog Boys as well?
That's Frog Boys as well.
Okay.
And they're in that video. There is we have a fake out where they're standing in front of what you think is a Step and Repeat with pineapples on it, and then it gets peeled back to show that it is an old man in the shower. So I love the old man is grotesque and weird looking, and he's naked, and
I love it.
I'd love to get him on a T-shirt.
I love out of all that high concept thing. You're like, what needs to end up on a T-shirt is the fucking man, the grotesque man in the shower behind the Step and Repeat.
Yeah.
Okay, Jesse VandenBergh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.